Where I am. I'm in the podcast Nyamene-ra from Shoko and I forgot my name. And in this channel we discussing awful music with her and with me. Let's go. I will shoot you. It was so fuck. Uh-huh. Oh. Have you considered working in the coal mines of
Okay,
Elon Musk?
okay, yeah, it's okay now. Sorry. Welcome back to the podcast. If you've
Go
been here
fuck
before.
yourself.
If not, I'm Shoko, and this is my friend Circle of Dolls. We're both the most professional people in the field of music ever to ever exist, ever. And that's why we have the right to criticize however we want.
Check maybe. For example, your music. Your music fucking sucks, bitch.
Yeah, I know.
Not you. I'm talking about the viewer. Yeah,
Yeah,
delete your
I
shit EP from
know.
SoundCloud. This shit sucks. Shut the fuck up.
Who
Sorry.
did you? Oh,
Hmm? Hmm?
who did you scream
What?
at?
At the viewer.
Why? That's not very nice.
Ah, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, please behave yourself. Okay, just gotta open some things that so that no, not that that so that I can see the chat
UP.
if there will be a chat.
I will chat with your mind.
Okay,
Do 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 do
so
do do. So. I
today,
heard behind the scenes that you wanted to what?
yeah, so today I wanted to maybe discuss something not controversial actually. I think it's actually quite agreed upon. Uh, but I feel like every decade or so, most of the music in every decade sounds pretty much the same.
Hmm? The same. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people excuses, but the shit like, oh, I have only 7 notes. What am I supposed to do with this shit? But they said it 15 years before, and you see how much many music genres and new music they made. So, what do you think about this excuse?
No, that's. I mean, I've never heard anyone say that, to be honest. Oh, I have only 7 notes. If someone actually uses that excuse, I think the
Hell
same.
excuse.
Yeah, like people created music 1,000 years ago, or 2,000 years ago, and before that, and they still do now with like those notes, same notes. I don't think the notes have changed much.
Like
So
for someone who listen to Russian rap, this phrase is pretty much meme in the Russian rap circles. Because literally every rapper who been exposed in plagiarism say shit like, "Oh, I only have 7 notes. How am I supposed to not copy anybody?" So yeah, think about from this perspective, it's kind of weird. Like
of
from
course,
every perspective, it's kind of weird.
no, but like it is impossible to like in a way it's impossible to actually not copy anyone because again, so everything has been done pretty much. You can just change like not everything. You can change like parts of the music that you make because it is impossible to like make up new notes because like how do you do that? Um, so I kind of understand, but at the same time, it's definitely a poor excuse because people are doing new music. So like yeah, do that too, you know.
Hmm.
But what I wanted to talk about was that I'm not exactly sure where it began. I feel like it began like a long time ago. That each
Begin what?
the fact that we could like recognize what year is the song from based on what it sounds like
Ah.
because well in the 20th century it's every decade, but before that maybe like every 30 to 50 years you could kind of recognize the music based on what it sounds like recognize from what year it is. I mean, you can still do that.
I think it pretty much began at the rise of the popular culture with the popular media such as radio and TV that rise in something 30s of the 20 of the last century. So like even the culture like punk rockers or before the jazz was in underground, they'll take the popular waves from the something that most people listen.
Yes,
So
but it was a thing like also in classical music for sure. I mean, lots of people were still writing stuff that people wanted to hear, you know, not specifically to be innovative. I mean, the ones that
yeah,
we
but
remember are the ones that like did something different. But
yeah, but at this point, people made music like a luxury for specific person. Like example, don't know, Bach who wrote his music specifically for the churches, or Mozart who wrote his music specifically for some rich theater who asked him. So like that much different with there's difference between this and people who wrote music for the public, for something that's popular in the large scene.
yeah, you're right.
Like something that some shitty rich asshole want. It may be different than what most people listen.
Yeah, I agree, but
Yes,
I mean, I still think that all rich people, quote unquote, requested, like for example, in the time of Mozart, the actual classical times, most people requested pretty much the same thing. I mean, a lot of music from that era sounds very similar to each other. Except for, I mean, it's
yeah,
easier
but
to.
again, that was something that popular between small rich circles.
I don't know,
Like that's
I
not something that
just.
most people listen. That only what rich people was popular between them.
What do you think most people listen
Like for
to?
example, between rich people now, popular pedophilia, but that's not something popular in the most cases.
I sure hope not. So, what do you think, like, the common folk listen to?
Mm, Actually, it's kind of hard to know just because of the fact that they didn't have any voice on documentation that wrote about the culture. Like what you know about literally everything from the folk culture, from for example the 19th century,
19th?
like yeah, or even before from the medieval ages. All we know is what church documented, or from the like uh, average people who live with rich people documented. So we don't know what the average peasants like.
I'm not so sure that's true. I think nowadays there are quite a lot of researches that do expand on the daily lives of people, like that were not rich, even dating back to the Roman Empire. So if it's medieval times and later
Breaking Bad.
on, No, not Breaking Bad was in 2008, so like that was really easy to document actually.
Hmm.
But yeah, I personally, I admit I don't know the field very well at all. But I don't think it's something that we can't know. I think like from what I know from my personal, like from what I studied in school and everything, I know that people listened to like like street music these days, but like that's pretty much all they had up until a certain point. So it was just like songs about nature and love and stuff like that, but it was, I don't know. Have you heard
But
about the troubadours and troubaduras?
imagine, like, I don't know, Coldplay. We have records that they released, cassettes, discs, even like internet servers when we can find their music 1,000 years later. But which record, which like sources of documentation you have about the popular music 2,000 years ago?
No, of course it's not the same. Of course, right now there is much more documentation. I don't doubt that at all. I just think it's not something that we can't find out about.
I'm pretty sure, like, since the popular culture please the needs of the most of the people, since most of the people live in pretty much under the line of poverty, the popular music also covered the themes of, like, I don't know, sex or food or shit like this, like the most niche theme for the need of the women.
I mean, yes, I imagine, but my question is, I think at first that there is something like when you think about popular music, you usually think like you can think about like what makes it popular. So I guess it's a catchy melody often. Um, and at that
Yeah,
times like this, like for example, 300 years ago, when if we're not talking about the music that was made for rich people, so people would just, they would have a text and they would have like three people that played something and one singer, and they would just play something catchy. I think regardless of what, like
so just summer music.
yeah, or songs. I mean, I don't know. I would imagine like you would go to like a village and there would be like some people playing there or something. And
Villagers.
I mean, yeah, probably in a village there would be villagers. Probably.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly. Those
oh.
guys. So yeah,
Interesting what the music taste of Iron God.
of Iron Golem,
Yeah, what is his music taste?
I don't know. Don't you think each Iron Golem is different?
I'm talking about the very specific Iron Golem that I know personally.
Oh, well, I don't know him, so that's a little problematic.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you introduced me, that could change, but until you
He
didn't.
stole my youth.
Oh, that's not very that's not very good. That's not very nice of him or legal.
No, that's legal.
Oh, it's legal. Well, I still think it's not very nice.
Mhm. But what's not legal is, I don't know, thinking about the theme that we can discuss, but I don't know.
No, but I think if we come back to it, what I wanted to ask, like at first, the thing that was popular, it was much more divided by regions because
Yeah,
people didn't have access to, like they wouldn't just travel 500 kilometers to hear what this town is playing, then come back and like tell people about it. They just listened to what
but there
they
are
had around
cars,
them.
really.
I'm talking like before the cars were made.
Uh,
Yeah.
like, What about airplanes?
Yeah, like before airplanes.
Ah, so maybe they are listen to shit like ooga 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 do do do
I
do do
think
do do.
a little later than that.
Yeah, I think yeah, the regions played pretty much big role in how the music sound. Not
Yeah,
only because like the most simple way to make instruments in this age when there were there were no industrialization is just making from the things that you have, and each region have like different kind of trees and different kind of stones. So, for example, Chinese music that play with bamboo sticks would pretty much will sound different that like Indian music that play with pines or something.
I guess, but again, I think you're thinking like about thousands of years ago. I'm thinking like 16th, 17th century, where I
And
think they
again, there were no industrialization that will allow to musicians make like hundreds of copy of their instrument.
they
They
don't have to make hundreds of copies. They just make it for themselves or inherit it from someone. I don't think it
yeah,
wasn't a
but
thing. I think it was a thing. Like,
maybe.
so what I wanted to say was that right now it's not like that, because right now, after again, as you
Right
said, after
now,
the
wish
TV
now.
and radios were invented, so everything became global, international, and so the music as well became
Mhm.
to sound like pretty much the same all around the world. Of course, there were, again, you can be creative and everything, and you can sound a little different from others, but eventually you will sound most of the times like something that's already been done, and usually if you want to be popular it will sound like what's being done during this era, because that's what
Mhm.
people listen to.
What you think about the rise of the sound from the 90s that now kind of popular with the weekend music or shit like this?
What do you mean by that? Like that it's coming back or what?
Yeah, like the two last album by The Weeknd and the last album by Dua Lipa is super inspired by the 90s pop and disco music.
Yeah, I guess they are. What I think about that, I think it
Mm-hmm.
makes sense because also the like Dua Lipa and The Weeknd, which are, I'm assuming, in their 30s. Well, that means that the 90s music is nostalgic to them, and they
Mm-hmm.
just go back to that because I know they liked how it sounds. They want to go back to that. It's also nostalgic to a lot of other people. So yeah, and that's why it's getting popular. I mean, I think.
And what do you think about when in Italy, by the way, Italy, I in Italy, in the like the the last of the end of the first half of the 19th century was a big movement that called pastoralism, that pretty much taking music that was not popular but remained aesthetics of the country and like the villages and make it popular. What do you think about this?
Um, I'm not sure what you're asking. Like, do I like it?
No, what do you think are the origins of this and why it suddenly become popular?
Like music that they explored other places and took inspiration from that. That's what you mean.
Yeah.
What I think about
Oh, wait
that.
a minute.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell to my dear viewers over here. I think that it's very logical because I don't know. Around that time, that's true. People really wanted to explore their surroundings since they had more access to traveling. They could finally like get out of their little region because if you have the opportunity to move, you are gonna want to. Um, because I mean, of course, there was always open space. It's not like you were limited, but you know, I don't think anyone wants to walk for hundreds of kilometers just to see some culture, you know. But when it became easier and more accessible, so they went for it, and yeah, and they saw like other cultures, and I think it's until now it's interesting to see how people think, like what others think is sounds good, and how it influenced the culture, and like so others were interested too. And since it was liked by the people of that culture that they saw, whatever it was, there's no reason why it wouldn't be liked by other cultures, because you know we're all human. Of course, we have different tastes, but it very much makes sense, in my opinion, that other cultures also liked it, like the cultures that visited.
I will shoot you. I will shoot you.
That's
Fine.
not very nice of you to shoot me.
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, okay, it's
I
okay.
will.
Oh, that's okay. Not very nice again.
So you start a new topic, or do you want to continue discussing
No,
the?
I didn't. I just said that since it was much more accessible in the 19th century for common people as well to travel around, even not only common people, rich people as well, like whoever it was,
Mhm.
since it was more accessible, they didn't.
Me.
Yeah, for example. So, you know, they traveled around and they heard what other cultures made, and since those cultures they made something that was liked by the people in the area, I think there's a very big chance that also other areas would like that, because you know, if it's already liked by some
Mhm.
people, it might as well be liked by other people. Like it makes sense, right? So yeah, they took inspiration from
Mhm.
that because they liked how it sounded. You know, um, I think it's also I think it's still interesting to see like how people thought like what music sounds good, like people that also for like explorers, like for places that they never saw before, they of
Mhm.
course, there's a lot of things to see. Like music is only a small part of it, but the fact that they saw so many new things, it's also like very interesting and interesting to experiment with, music-wise. So yeah, I think that's very logical that they took inspiration.
Mhm.
I would too. I mean, when I hear something new and I like it, I would get inspiration from that for sure.
Hmm. What about inspiration? The current popularity of aesthetics, such as vaporwave or wordcore or dreamcore, what do you think about the future of them and how will they impact music? This so strict classification of music genres with aesthetics. What do you think about the future of music in this direction?
Wow, that's a very difficult question. How it
Sorry.
will impact. Um, okay, well, I'm trying to think like where I should start. I think
We start with one thing. I don't know why. It
I
doesn't know
think a
what else.
lot of things, if you like try to define all those little genres that are very closed off,
Mm-hmm.
I think they already have some kind of, since they're on MIDI, um, they have this kind of aesthetic that is both, it both feels like nostalgic, since MIDI was experimented with for like a few decades now, and it still feels
Mm.
innovative because you know we learn all the time like what the computer could do. And
Okay, computer.
for yes, for example, uh, and about the future, I really don't
Yeah.
know. I really don't know what to say. What do you have an opinion about that? Because like we can't predict the
Mm,
future, you know.
Actually, I opinion. There's so three classification of genres with so small canons, and they expand. Like for example, when they took vaporwave, but slow the music there down even more. It's completely different aesthetic because the aesthetics of vaporwave pretty much strict. Or for example, when I take cottage core, the aesthetics of the country, and add some small part from I don't know. From future aesthetics, like they make it on a moon on something. That's completely different aesthetics. So I think with the expansion of the aesthetics, there will be so much and so strict rules that after all, that will be no matter. They all will combine in some big aesthetics. So it's pretty much the circle of the popular music and the start of time when the globalism make super small cultures combine into one big. So it's much the spiral of popular music, but in a more big, like bigger, in bigger part.
Interesting. That's very interesting. I didn't think about like really makes sense in
Lele, lele, lele,
what?
lele,
Can you hear
lele,
me?
lele.
Can you hear
Oh,
me? Yeah.
you hear.
Hi. Sorry,
Yeah,
internet
you
problems.
disappeared.
Yeah, yeah, I imagined it was something like that. I'm here now, right?
So what you said?
I think I'm here now, right?
I
Okay.
hear you.
Yeah, 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 great. So
So what was
I
you
was
saying?
trying to think like I'm always trying to think about it like if history repeats itself a lot, has it been has it happened before in music as well?
Things when a lot of punk rockers divided themselves so much from each other that it pretty much made no sense between the genres, like horror punk and sludge punk, or just regular punk rock, or anarchist punk, or even Nazi punk, some shit that existed and nobody liked it. So pretty much this deviation of genres just made it worse from the whole. The whole aesthetic of punk to divide themselves. So the fact that there were so many genres make no sense for genre. So at the end of the day, they pretty much all defined as punk rock.
I don't know. When on the one hand it makes sense, on the other hand I don't
Like
know.
think
Maybe you're right. Yeah.
think about it as a circle. The well, no, even as a clock. The last minute of the clock and the first minute of the clock, pretty much we have the full secret to make it, but there's still like some millimeters between them. So pretty much this with the deviation of things. When you divide things, when you extremely divide things, there's so much things that no, they're unite just because they're nothing to make communities with, because everybody's so different that in the end of the day they're just big large community.
All right. I'm not sure I completely
You
understood, but
understand?
I think I kind of get it. I think.
Like think about it as a color scheme. You see like many dots, and they're like red dots and blue dots. You can make a border between them and say this the red community and the blue community. But when we add also green dots and then purple dots, there are much more communities. And then when every dot will be in different color, there will be no communities, and the wall like displays with dots will be one large community just because they can't form strict communities.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you're right. My
That's
OBS
with
is
that's
like
with the same with
confusing.
music. Hmm?
My OBS is growing crazy. Yeah, I think we are having like connection issues, but yeah, go on because I don't know. It like sometimes
Um,
happens. Um, trying to see. Yeah, we're live still. Okay. Yeah, I'm just not sure if like I agree. I think we both agree that a lot of genres like sound quite similar, right?
mhm.
And a lot of
So
genres
if we
are
think, if we took it extreme,
no. That just wanted to say that a lot of genres that sound similar, it's because like maybe one artist can make it unique and call it something else, but it's impossible for like a group of artists to make it unique altogether. You know, it has to be like something completely different, and it's usually not. So,
yeah, that's why genres exist.
yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Like, there has to. There will still. I think there will still be, like, you will still be able to differentiate, if that's a word, like, between genres. But maybe you're right. I was thinking like maybe it will eventually, if everything turns like kinda in, or at least all the popular music turns like into one big genre. I think like it would be more, maybe more looked upon as decades, you know, because instead of like genres, maybe older music will be looked upon as like this decade's music. Like for example, the I don't know, 20 to 25 area, 2020 to 2025 area will be looked upon like it is something
Mm.
like one big pile of music,
Mess.
because we do look at that, for example, at classical music like that, we definitely not don't divide it to genres. Like I mean, there are periods, exactly, so it's divided by the time and not by the, almost never by the things that people actually did. So what you're saying
Oh, do
is
you
you
listen to
think,
alt baroque wave?
yeah, exactly. So what you're saying is you think the same will happen with the music right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
when
I
people
mean,
will so much
it's,
divide genres that it will be impossible to tell them one from each other.
I mean, we don't even have to go that far back. I think if even if we think about like 40s, 50s, and even 60s music, there is like most genres there are pretty much for us. Like maybe there were two, three, maybe four
Mhm.
genres like in total. So I guess it makes
Actually,
sense.
I think I think we can even go back from like 20 years. Like when every metal band invented their own genre. Like what's the difference between power metal and heavy metal and metalcore?
I really can't tell you.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I mean, I think some like really diehard fans will be able to, like, they will tell you the difference because they're if it's defined by the artist, there is a difference because the other says, oh, but I do this and that, so it's something different. Like you can't say it's wrong, but it's just
Mhm.
like comes to a point like how by how many people is it recognized. And if there is not enough people, so yeah, we see it as like one thing. Like it's not, still didn't come to that point, but I imagine like in the future we'll see most metal.
Mhm.
So you
Do
agree
you
with
think
that?
Imagine Dragons is metal?
I don't think so. No, I personally do not think so. But I don't.
Do
I
you
also
think
don't think
Imagine Dragons will be
they
popular after 15 years?
15. I mean, there's always the factor of being nostalgic, so that will always be a thing.
You think Imagine Dragons will be nostalgic?
I mean, some Imagine Dragons songs are nostalgic for me, so I think like I'd be able to enjoy them.
Which one? The Believer? Believer?
No, but Radioactive, for example.
Oh,
I don't know. It's just nostalgic because I heard it a lot when I was young, and yeah, I enjoyed it. So what? I like the song. I mean, I know they're not the best band, but I still like their song. Like I like some of their songs.
me too.
So yeah, but I don't think they define themselves as metal. So I don't think there is any conflict here.
I define them as metal.
You define them as metal. Can you explain why?
I don't.
You don't. Okay. So you just lied.
I can. Yeah,
Like
and
in front of like 1,000 viewers, you lied.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know you can get cancelled for that, right?
Sorry.
Yeah, you should like watch your mouth,
No,
young sir.
I will publicly apologize. I will publicly
You
apologize.
really
Stop,
should
stop,
because
stop.
yeah.
I will apologize. I will apologize.
Okay,
I
yeah,
will
that's good. That's
apologize.
good. Hopefully they will forgive you,
I
you
will
know?
not.
Maybe. Okay, then never mind.
Ben Nirvana?
No, not by Nirvana. Not by Nirvana. Did you know that Kurt Cobain is dead?
Dead?
Yeah,
Why
he's.
not mom?
Oh, well, I think that's just the biological definition.
Uh,
Maybe he defined himself as a mom. But I meant like he's dead as if he's not alive.
I.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
That's
Because
not like someone shooting with shotgun or something. Why you should be dead?
I mean that's kind of what happened.
Who is the killer?
I believe the killer is now also dead.
Good, good. Fuck this bitch.
Do you think like
Who you?
artists are scared of being in a 27 club?
Nah,
They wanna be?
nah. They just don't. If they're smart enough to be popular, they probably don't believe in the shit like they have the ability to become one. So it's just statistics. It's not something that wait for every artist that's popular.
No, well, of course not. There are a lot
A
of
lot
artists
of a
that
lot of
didn't die at 27. It's like a very small
yeah.
number.
Example.
Tom Jones.
Who the fuck is this? Tom York?
No,
Tom
well,
York is
Tom
dead
York is
inside.
also alive, but I meant.
Yeah, it's dead inside. It's something different.
What about Ozzy Osbourne?
I'm pretty sure all of this. I don't know.
He's alive,
Why
you
is not
know.
that? Well, that only means that he's not a good musician. So he didn't sold his youth to the Satan to die in the 27.
Well, I think a lot of people will disagree with you on that.
Oh yeah, bad music taste moment.
I mean, I don't know. I enjoy his music, but I don't know if I'd say I like him. I'm really bad with
Is
like choosing who I like, so
like Well, we can agree that it is influential, but like, is music good? Even if it's influential, that's something to think about.
Maybe. Maybe you're right, yeah. Speaking of influential, I know you
Yeah,
also are not a big fan of the Beatles.
yeah,
Do you also
boring,
agree that
corny ass.
do you also
Yeah,
agree
they're
though that
influential, of
yeah,
course.
okay.
Like pretty much every band from this British invasion in American pop culture is super influential. Like the Rolling Stones, the Doors, the no wait, the Doors was from no, they was also British.
I can
Yeah,
check.
like every yeah, check it. Like yeah, Beatles, Rolling Stone, yeah, Rolling Stones. The which band there were also?
What about Pink Floyd? I mean, they were in the 70s, but I feel like they were as influential
Pink
as
Floyd, yeah, but they were like the second generation of this whole British invasion. They're also influential, but they are like all
no,
of the
the Doors
good.
are from United States.
uh,
Did you
and
know they're classified as heavy metal?
what?
I
Who
swear to
classified them
you.
like this?
Uh, I think it's from
Not only they're not
Wikipedia.
metal, but they're also not heavy.
Yeah, they're not heavy. I'm not sure why. Like it says rock and roll, heavy metal, psychedelic rock. Yeah.
Um,
Led Zeppelin is also from the 60s, isn't it?
but they're American.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. Beatles are influential, but I don't like their music. It's boring and corny and boring. And also very boring. Like super boring. Like imagine imagine dragons, a little bit not imagine dragons, imagine boring, like super boring music,
Do you
like
like
the
the
most
Beach
boring
Boys?
shit I ever heard. The Beach Boys are cool. I like their music. Yeah, they're pretty much what the Beatles could become after the Sgt. Pepper if they made good music.
I mean, I feel like
Like
the.
imagine the Sergeant Pepper, but if the Sergeant Pepper, but if the producers actually let the John Lennon put the picture of Hitler in all these people with one Sergeant Pepper.
Mm-hmm. But I feel, and I might be wrong saying this, but I feel like the Beach Boys and the Beatles were innovative, like the same amount of innovative. So I would imagine that you called the Beach
Mm,
Boys boring as well. But you don't for some reason.
no, I think Beach Boys are much more innovative, and the work with guitars, with the sound, with the mixing that they made are much more interesting than everything the Beatles made on their most psychedelic music. Like the most experimental music that Beatles made is the less experimental music that Beach was made.
Can you give an
Not only that,
example
but
of
they
like
actually.
experimental song by the Beach Boys?
Mm,
Because I'm like really a little bit confused.
like this, their whole the first album with these weird faces. No, not the first, the second album with the weird faces. Don't remember. It's pretty much experimental pop music of this era.
But can you give me a
Something
song?
that the Beatles. I don't remember the names of the song. I listened to it on a shuffle.
because I really I do think they were innovative, but I don't think it was anything super experimental, like not more experimental
Yeah,
than the
that's the
Beatles.
point. They combined the experimental music with making actually listenable. That's something that a lot of experimental musicians can't make. Like you would not listen to like 2 hours of noise with far sounds in the between. Experimental, but it's not listenable. So they made actually experimental music listenable. Like the Bjork, you know the Bjork. She said in some interviews that she's pretty much inspired by the second album by the Beach Boys.
I wonder. I never thought about them like as like I did think that they were experimental, of course. So like their some of their biggest hits, not of course not all of them, but like they have also quite basic music. You have to agree at least to that.
Yeah,
I think also like the more popular music that they have is not that experimental because again it fitted with what was popular at the time.
like yeah, one of your favorite bands, the Radiohead. They make experimental music, but their most popular hit is "Sleep, I'm a Weirdo." And it's not experimental. It's just average alternative rock from the 90s.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, but I'm just trying to think like about I don't know, maybe I should re-listen to the Beach Boys because I really don't I really can't think about like
Yeah,
any
actually,
song
that
that
will be
was
the advertising in our channel. Listen to Beach Boys now, you viewer. Listen to them now. By
yeah, I mean you're welcome to listen to them. They're pretty good. Like experimental or not, they're just good. It's a good band, so
yeah, like yeah, they're not super experimental, but they're much more experimental than Beatles.
again, I want to dispute you because I really am not sure. I need to re-listen to like, especially that second album you were
Release.
talking about. But I just somehow I feel like I'm not sure I agree with you. You know, but
Mm.
I can't say that for sure again. So for now you're
Well,
right, but yeah,
mm-hmm. I right.
you right.
I
Okay.
right. Okay.
So yeah, yeah, I definitely like the Beach Boys. I mean, their music is very fun regardless. Also, they were
Imagine the Beach
before.
Boys, but the Beach Boys.
Did you know that they were like they were a band before the Beatles?
Yeah, they started in 58, I think.
61, but still.
Uh,
Ah, numbers. Who cares about them, right?
me.
Oh, never mind then.
By
Let's
Nirvana?
Nirvana. No, not never. No, no.
You know that Nirvana in Russian means not cutted?
Yes. I mean, I never thought about that, but you're right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have get around, I get around stuck in my head right now because it's by the Beach Boys.
The
Uh,
Beach Boys.
yeah. They're a thing. Let's see. For right and
Do you think they're also the Forest Boys and
probably
the Sea Boys
I can check.
and the Beastie Boys?
Aha! Now that's that's already a thing. Let's see, the Forest Boys band. Almost Yes, Forest Boys.
Hmm?
Yes, it's a band. Let's see. Oh, I can't play it, but they're a band.
Copyright.
They have. I just want to see how many views they have.
They have
Wait.
a lot.
Not shaming anyone, okay? Like I get like 30 views in my thing, so like if you have like 10,000 views, don't worry about it. Okay, it's loading. Sorry, my internet is not best. The thumbnail is beautiful. Let's see. Still loading.
10.
No, don't play it. That's
10.
stop playing it.
Their loss.
They have 12,000 views on this song. And they look
Hidden gem? Hidden gem?
maybe I can't listen to it right now, but I
Their
think they're
loss.
French. Pretty sure they're French. Because all the comments are in French. Wow, I really wonder what kind of music is it? Because I can't tell from the clip. It looks.
Country.
Okay, I will save it for later. Because I am interested.
See you later. Elevator. On which side are you? See you later, elevator, and see you later, alligator.
Alligator. Obviously. It's classic.
Mayonnaise on escalator.
It's going upstairs, so see you later.
See you later.
Oh yeah, I
When
forgot.
next album?
Yeah, I forgot that I wanted to do this. Yeah. There's also The Who.
Two.
Do you like
The Who?
The
Yeah, I like their music.
You like their music? I gotta say.
Unfortunately, Limp Bizkit also like their music. They made shitty cover on one of their best songs.
Which song?
Don't know what it's like to be the sad man.
I didn't know. I didn't know there was a Limp Bizkit version.
Blue eyes. Yeah, it's more popular than the Who's version. So that's a shame.
Okay, you sound like a boomer now.
But no, I just don't like Limp Bizkit.
I always, when I think about Limp Bizkit, I think about the video where he talks about I love smoking crack, so I wrote a song about like doing crack, not smoking it. Sorry, I'm not in the
Everybody fuck, everybody sucks, everybody love fuck, everybody's fuck, life is suck, everybody's fuck, everybody's fuck, their life is suck, and rolling, 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 do you get, do
We might get copyrighted.
Ah, sorry.
Yeah, please control yourself. No, but actually, I listened to The Who not too long ago, and like.
The Who?
You're so funny every time. And I didn't like a lot of their songs, actually.
Yeah, they're pretty much this boring, like, soft rock. But some of their popular songs are good.
Well, good thing they're popular, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what it's like to be a sad man.
Batman,
Whoa.
to be a Robin, to be a Joker.
I actually don't know what it's like to be Joker.
I know. I'm literally him. I'm literally him.
Wow, we're actually. I thought we have Circle of Dolls on the podcast, but it's actually the Joker all along.
Yeah, I'm literally like him. We live in the society when me is me and you is you.
But about him.
Um, the who?
No, that's the Doors.
You know that Snoop Dogg had a feature with the Doors.
Like the remaining participants.
No, he made the remix of the song
Ah,
and
okay.
then put it in Need for Speed, and it was Riders of the Storm, and there is Shitty Birth, and then again Riders of the Storm, and there is another Shitty Birth, and again Riders of the Storm, and another Shitty Birth from Snoop Dogg, and Riders of the Storm, and that's ended.
I mean, how bad is it if it's in Need for Speed, you know?
Yeah, they're like Riders of the Storm, and then Escape, and Riders of the Storm.
Have you played Need for Speed? I haven't.
Yeah, I played Underground and yeah, I played on the Need for Speed Underground.
Oh, nice. Okay, no, you actually played. That's it. Because I didn't. So if there are any.
Ah, yes, I also played Most Wanted, but I didn't have it. I played it in one of my friend's house because I don't have PlayStation.
Right. If there are any Need for Speed out there, you now know if you're a Need for Speed fan and a Circle of Dolls fan, you have something in common with Circle of Dolls because he played Need for Speed. So like, yeah.
And what about you, Shoko? Good.
What about
Have
me?
you played Need for Speed?
I'm pretty sure I didn't.
I,
Yeah, I know.
by,
I know. I haven't played a lot
I,
of things. Did you know I have a list of games?
Ooh.
Isn't that cool?
Shokotov, when you releasing your next album?
Actually, I started working on something not too long ago, and right now I'm not working on it anymore. I might get back to it. I don't know. I
Remember
just
when we wanted to make a feature? Do you remember?
the 21st night, September. Yeah, I remember. Yes, I remember. I just am so afraid of writing, you know? I know it's stupid, but I'm just like I don't want to
You
start.
are not stupid.
I just don't want to I don't want to start because I don't want to be disappointed, you know? Just life is so hard.
Mm, nah, it's not.
Yeah, it's
Look at
not.
this as if you will not try it, you will don't you will have nothing to show people, and like zero, like one is better than zero.
One na, 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 and the one yeah, it's better.
Like, look at this as game. When you playing games, you don't look for the best scores. You like just to have fun. So why not look at music like this? Just make fun when you're writing music, and not no matter if it's good or bad.
Hmm, I mean, you're
Like for
right.
example, uh, I put my some of my albums on Rate Your Music. You know this website when nerds rating music, and so much people wrote for how my music is unmastered with bad mix, bad melody, bad everything. But like, why should I give a fuck? I like my music, so guys, so write whatever you want. Like, thanks for reviews, but I will not change anything.
Right. You're right. I don't know. I don't know why it's so difficult for me. I really don't know. Just a
It's
problem that
because
I
bad
have.
self-esteem, man.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Maybe.
Maybe you. I will shit in your bed.
Oh, that's
Sorry, I will not.
okay. Thank you.
I will.
Wait, what? No. Hmm.
Shoko, what do you think about the mash up music? Since all our this discussion about the plagiarism music and about the copying each other, what do you think about the music that completely made up of the samplers from other music? What do you think about it? Hmm?
I think it's a very. I don't know how to answer that because you can be sampling something and just taking a very
No,
little part of it, or just like.
no, I think I talk about when it's not slippery slope between just copying other music. It's when you sample like hundreds of different sounds, samples, even just like 1 second sounds from the other songs, and combine all this stuff into one song.
I think it's a
Like I don't
very.
remember, but there were one like no, artist from the 90s who made an entire career of this. So what do you think about it?
I think that's a good way to be creative. Like, I don't know what to say about it. I think it's like it's a way to make music because even though you're like you're
Mm.
taking stuff from other people anyway, like one way or another, right? So do it however you want as long as you make something that I like. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
But
copyright is a joke.
I mean, yeah, I mean it depends on how you mix it in. If you hide it well
Yeah.
enough, no one will notice, you know.
And from
Or
this, what do you think of the future of copyright and music in the digital age in like 10 years later?
oh my
Hmm?
god, I don't know. Don't know. It will
Hmm.
probably be more strict because people want money, right? So I think it will just be like it got worse, and I think it very well might keep getting worse. That's what I
Hmm.
think. What do you think, dolls?
Me?
Yeah.
I think if the socialist revolution will be successful, and it will, then copyright will die. But because eventually there will be no big companies so greedy to make money of the small musicians, and you will just able to sample whatever you want without the need of making money from it.
But don't you think
But even
it's
not, yeah, I think. Yeah, I think if it's not because it's not kind of realistic, yeah, the copyright rules, especially if the big music labels will be stronger and stronger in the digital places. Yeah, the copyright rules will be more and more strict to the point where just making something similar to what other music sounds like will be copyrighted and like you will be unable to monetize it on shit like this.
yeah, I mean it hasn't happened yet that it's being copyrighted, but a lot of artists like get called out for like doing something that oh it sounds like this other artist, you know?
Like these YouTube channels when people with guitar like show how to play some music. So at some point, either them will be copyright striked and their channel will be unable to monetize just because their music that they play even sound like the music that they supposed to play.
Right.
And at some point, even some indie musicians that play with like auditory of 2,000, even 100 people still will be demonetized just because their music may, even in some seconds, sound like some big musician.
But you gotta admit that there is still some logic to, like, it's not fair if some, for example, I don't know. I think it's fair that artists want to make money out of their music. I just think it's got too far to the point where, like, I don't know. It's just like it reminds me of a case. I'm not, I think it's from a podcast called The Cold Ones, but if not, I'm sorry. There was a big podcast which, like, they did commentary on, like, a lot of things, and at one point they decided to copyright the word commentary. Like, if another YouTuber uses the word, they're copying them, you know? So
Yeah, that's the problem with the copyright of the like intellectual property. I don't think that intellectual property should be copyright, like the single word on the single name. Like for example, I want to name my music Black Sabbath, and then the Black Sabbath comes and Ozzy Osbourne like scream from me with this smoked voice. But like it's just word Black Sabbath. You don't have right to these words. There's a problem in the capitalist world with this shit, because like if big company will monetize the idea that they want to monetize, the small people will just don't have access to the making of this idea, and they will create monopoly of this big company. So monopoly is always not good.
yeah, but
That's why I think intellectual property shouldn't be so strict that in the ideal world it should be exist at all.
yeah, but if there's an album called Circle of Dolls, that's very bad.
Mhm. Why?
You always complain about it.
No, I complain that it exists, but I don't complain that they should take it down.
But you
Like
wanna
I
be
want
bigger
them
than
to take
them.
it down and delete it completely from the internet. Yeah, I want bigger than them. It even kind of a challenge to make the internet when I search Circle of Dolls first show results about me and then about this corn ripoff.
I see.
Yeah, so I think intellectual property is super bad for the smaller people, smaller artists, literally anything smaller than the big companies.
Yeah, I think a lot of like
Like
smaller artists.
Ed Sheeran literally named his album Plus. So now Plus is copyrighted?
Um, sure hope not.
Hmm. You see, MP.
Yeah, I understand. I understand your point.
Mhm.
But do you? But I still think like it's fair to still make money off music, right?
Yeah, but if someone sample my music, if it's like not the whole song, I don't see a problem that they will monetize it as their own work.
Sure, yeah, I agree. But that's the thing. I feel like I don't know. Maybe it's difficult to set boundaries in that field. I'm not sure. I don't work in the copyright business
Field.
for now.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't.
I mean, I might get a lot of money out of it.
Nah,
No, okay.
you will. You will also get a lot of money of being cop and beating innocent people.
Yeah, well, let's not get into politics, shall we?
Mm.
Yeah, please. Let's spare the audience from your politic opinion. And speaking of sparing the audience, I think we can conclude the stream for
Bye.
today. Yeah, wow, you're excited. All
No.
right. That was, let's let's see how long. Oh, that was
Like
70
2
minutes.
hours maybe.
No, but 70 minutes.
Mm.
Alright.
Ah.
Okay, so thank you guys for watching if anyone watched it at all. And maybe we'll see you next time if everything will go right. Right? So, yeah. Have a good day or night or week. And see you next time. Bye.